Hey, everybody. Hold on a minute. I'll shut this garage door. Make sure I don't get interrupted. Let's see if anybody shows up anyway. All right, everybody. Hey, it's Sunday morning, guys. Church with Watachi. Uh, People, this ain't going to be a long one. I've just got, you guys seen the title, vets, LEOs, and all oath takers. One question. If all oath takers were oath keepers, our Constitution would not be in the shape it's in today, would it? If everybody that has sworn oath to uphold, defend, and protect our Constitution, which was put into place to protect our God-given rights, keep the government from messing with our God-given rights. I think about this every day, folks, because I have family members, a lot of them. I've known many military personnel, people that have been in the military, people that work for the government that weren't in the military. I've known a lot of people, oath takers. Now, even in the military, when you go into the military, in basic training, they already put you up against another set of barracks over here, a group of guys. And they put you against each other because they want you, as your team, to try harder and do better than the other team. But they start dividing you in there. Then, you get out here and you get out of basic training and everything. And then, the Air Force don't like the Navy. They work together, but they don't like the Navy. The Air Force don't like the Army, and the Air Force don't like the Marines. The Navy, same thing. They don't like the Air Force, they don't like the Army, and they don't like the Marines. Even though the Navy and the Marines are the same thing. But it's that attitude. Same thing, Marines don't like Army, Navy, Air Force, the whole deal. And they keep them divided like that. And you can ask any Marine, that they are the only ones that do anything and make a difference. They don't need the Army. They don't need the Navy. They don't need the Air Force. They don't need nobody else's help. Ask any Marine. They could have done it all by themselves. That's the kind of attitude the Marines get when they're in basic training. But I'm just asking you guys, man. I've known thousands of cops, hundreds of sheriff deputies, many sheriffs, personally, military people like you wouldn't believe I've known all my life, all over this country. And these are all oath takers that held their right hand up and swore to God, swore to the creator of all things, that they would defend, protect the Constitution of the United States. And they know which Constitution I'm talking about, not that corporate Constitution. If you swore an oath to that corporate Constitution, you swore an oath to Satan, because that thing's nothing but garbage. And people, I want you to know I don't have a problem with police officers and sheriffs and sheriff deputies. I don't. The problem with it that stands at this point that I have with them is they've painted this thin line. It's such a thin line, man. It probably one hair on a brush that they painted this line with. And if you're on one side of it, you're okay to them. If you're on the other side, at any time, you are a criminal. Now, this line is so thin, I guess only they can see it. I think it's that thin blue line they talk about. Well, it's so thin you can't hardly tell where it's at anymore. When that Constitution was put in place, that damn line was miles wide. Government knew where they needed to be over there, and we knew where we were at right here in control. Today, that is not the facts. Today, sitting here on Sunday morning, we have, I would have to say, 1 million, at least 1 million, and just vets that have sworn oath. Then you start getting into all LEOs and all the people in politics and that works for the government in any way, even postmasters and stuff like that. There's millions and millions and millions of people who swore an oath, held up their right hand to God and swore they would defend it, protect it from all enemies, foreign and domestic. If that is a fact, if that is the truth, folks, then our Constitution, with these millions and millions and millions and millions of people that have sworn oath to God. Now, I don't know what God they're swearing an oath to, but if they swore it to the God of Abraham, the creator of all things, including Satan, if they're swearing to that God, the God of the Holy Bible, then our Constitution would be so strong today, the government wouldn't even whimper a word about taking away any rights. And if they were scared you guys were going to uphold your oaths, because if I've heard one Marine, one Army, Navy, Air Force personnel say my oath didn't end when my tour was up and I went home, again, my head's going to explode, because they didn't defend it when they was actually active, and they certainly ain't going to do it after they're no longer active. Now, you guys had your big Memorial weekend for these guys last weekend that have died fighting for gold, oil, control, power, and your demonocracy. You guys want to celebrate that because you guys want to claim they fought for your rights and your freedoms and your Constitution. And wait a minute, those three things you no longer have. So what were they fighting? Oh, so I was right. Oil, gold, control, power. And you guys are celebrating that. Well, like I said before, the only ones I mourned for on that weekend were the ones that were forced to fight in those wars and died from the draft or just being grabbed up There's been wars, people been grabbed up and thrown, made to go fight. Those are the people I mourn for. The people who volunteered, signed their name on the dotted line. Do I need to say more? Even though when you went in thinking you was fighting for we the people. You went in thinking you was fighting for the Constitution. You went in thinking you was fighting for your parents and your family's rights and your loved ones' rights and people, your friends and everybody that you would ever know that lives in your country. You thought you was fighting for them. If you was in more than a year, you knew damn good and well you wasn't. If you thought that was true, people, all you have to do, take a camera and go walk around the outside of a military base somewhere inside the United States. Any one of them. There's plenty of videos of it. And those guys come off of their property, off of the base, threatening MPs and stuff, come off the base in public where they have no jurisdiction whatsoever, especially with civilians, and arrest people and then try to intimidate them and do all kinds of shit. Because there's a thing you're taught when you're in the military. If you're on the inside of that fence on that base, you're good. Everybody on the outside of that fence is an enemy. Don't matter what title you give them, American, Chinese, Russian, everybody on the outside of that fence line is the enemy, according to them. Well, people, I've said enough about this, but my question is, where are all the oath takers? You claim to be oath takers, you brag about it. Where are you? Where are you? Where you been? I know. You guys are sitting back. You've got it all planned out. You're going to make your move at the last second. Right. Right. All I can say is I hope to be the one to tell your children about you. If I ever get the chance. If they ever see my videos, I'm going to be the one to tell your children about you and your oath, the oath that you took, that you did not keep. I hope to be that person. Because we know parents lie like hell to kids. They're not going to tell the kids the truth. That's how they got you dumbed down enough to sign up and volunteer to go fight in wars for oil, gold, control, and everything else. Parents lying to their own kids. It starts early. Starts early in life, people. Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, Tooth Fairies. It starts early. So why would these kids not think, especially when they start finding out all this stuff they've been told by their parents is all bullshit? Well, if it's all right for mommy and daddy to lie their ass off to me, I'm their flesh and blood, and they lie their ass off to me. So it must be okay for me to go out and lie my ass off throughout the entire my lifetime. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to have a kid believe in Santa Claus. Get up on Christmas. I've been through it many times. And I even remember it when I was a kid. You know, get up and believe that Santa Claus came while everybody was asleep, put gifts underneath the tree and everything. It's a beautiful thing. See them kids get up, rip them presents open, the happiest day in their life that year, you know. But it's a lie, people. You know what God says about lying? And we do it to our own children. Sometimes we do it, we don't even think about it. We don't even know. We've just been told the same lies for all of our lives, so we just pass it on. Well, that's church with Watachi today, guys. It's just something that just eats at me, and eats at me. All these people, men and women, all of them have taken their oaths, and they have failed miserably. Miserably. None of them have kept their oath. None of them. And these guys are active duty right now. I don't care if they're a cop, deputy, military, whatever. If you're actively in that position and you ain't kept your oath, you're a damn traitor. Period. You better look deep in your soul and find the truth, folks. One day, you're going to be questioned about what you've done. And you better be able to have a damn good answer, or you better have Jesus in your heart, your soul, your mind. Because if not, you're going to burn. You are going to burn for what you have done. And I tell you what, Marines are the ones, it burns me up so bad about how badass these Marines think they are. All of them. Little short, stumpy, punk-ass boys that I could have bitch smacked with the back of my hand at 30 years old, if at my age of 30, and they brag about how badass they are. Oh, I was in special forces. Oh, I was in fucking cold weather training. I was in fucking, we did all these special ops. I've heard it all. Not one of you kept your oath. Sorry for your bullshit, but I'm calling you on it. And I hope to be the person that tells your kids. I'd rather be the person that tells your kids how you were a hero how their father, mother, being a law enforcement officer, was a outstanding law enforcement officer, that at the time when it was needed, the worst time in America, that these oath takers all stood up and kept their oath. I pray for that. I pray for you to be the heroes. We need you back on our side. You don't know how bad. I gotta go. Just remember, folks, the only way out of this, there's only one door. And that's Jesus Christ. It's the only way out of this. Make no mistake, God loves you and so do I. Honestly. Get in the basement, folks. Get in the basement.